Are we clipped in and ready?
Yep.
Yes! We're on it. Anita, lovely to see you again.
Oh, so excited to be here.
Oh, thank you for coming all this way as well, especially in the rain.
It's all right.
And you've had to park somewhere.
I did.
Parking's a little bit awkward in Sheffield, isn't it?
This narrow for a car that's this wide.
How have you been since last time I saw you?
Good.
Yeah,
all good.
Yeah. How was your husband and Charlie dog?
Dog,
Andrew
yes.
and
Charlie? We've started agility training.
Agility training?
For her.
I was going to say for Andrew or
Not
for the pooch.
Who's
doing this? Who's doing this agility?
He would not do well at agility
No?
training. No, for her. I thought it would be good for her because it mentally exhausts her. And she's actually learning really fast.
What type of dog is she? Belgian?
Belgian Malinois.
Malinois, yeah, I thought so, yeah. She's one of those, it's like a small Alsatian that's stereotypically a police dog.
Yes.
Is that right?
Yes, they use them in Iraq and Afghanistan a lot, and a lot of police
now
use them.
Sounds great.
In America and here. But she's stupidly smart.
Yes.
And I'm finding that she's gaining confidence so fast and picking everything up really quickly. And I'm just really enjoying it. I'm just enjoying seeing her. And I run around and go, jump, tunnel, and she's just...
Oh, so like I might have seen a dog show on TV where they jump over little things and you have to run over a seesaw and then through a tunnel.
She does a seesaw.
Whoa.
So she goes over the little jumps that look like miniature horse things, and then through the tunnel, and then through a tyre and round and over another jump and over the seesaw, which makes a really loud bang when her weight counter tips it and it goes down the other side, and she's got to get on the end and her paws have to make contact with the white bit at one end, and then she's got to stay on it till it tilts, and she's got to go straight off the other end. Paws have to touch the coloured bit on the other end, not jump off the side. She can't cheat. This is how, for her to do it properly, she's got to go all the way over and stay on the seesaw, even though it bangs down the other way. She's got to just straight over. Paws have to touch the coloured bit right at the end, and then she gets off. So,
is there a professional teaching her to do this?
Yeah.
I imagine so. There must be.
Well, it's a dog training club just at Rother Valley.
Oh.
Yeah. So she's still a beginner. She's only actually had 2 sessions.
But she's picking it up fast.
Oh, fast.
Sounds like
and
it.
Getting so confident so quick. I'm very proud of her, actually.
Oh,
yeah,
that's
very proud
so
of her.
Cute, isn't it? That's so cute.
Little girl.
Yeah, she's a high energy dog, isn't she? So she needs some tiring out mentally and physically.
Yeah, it's really good for her because after the first week, she practically went unconscious in the car on the way home.
Oh,
and slept
good. Worn
all
out.
Afternoon.
Yes,
yeah, absolutely.
That's what we need.
Yeah.
That's what we need.
So,
it's like wearing out a hyperactive child.
Yes,
Get
indeed.
them worn down. Get them worn down. How's your back been as well? Because you've been having some back trouble, haven't you?
I'm good. All good. Sorted. 100%.
Recovered?
Back to baseline where I normally live.
Oh,
so, all
excellent.
good.
Because I know you were in some terrible pain, weren't you? For an extended period of time.
Yes, it was not nice.
This is a recurring back issue for you, isn't it?
It's never going to get better. So I just live with it.
Yeah, you do your exercises though, and you've got a good body weight, and you've got a strong back as well. So you.
Thanks to you.
Thanks to you, I think. Thanks to you, I think you. You did it for sure. But you've got strong back as well, haven't you? You do your exercises.
Yep.
I saw you comment on my Facebook video. Face pulls are the best.
Face pulls, yes. Yep. I think I've only sent the picture to like about 2 or 3 people, but the change in my upper back that you've helped me gain.
Really, good back muscles then.
Have I not sent you the picture? I know I sent it to Emma. And I sent it... I
don't know, unless I've forgotten.
I'll send it...
I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I can't...
Really? How could you?
No,
I sent it to my best friend as well, but I'll send it anyway. But I'm very proud of...
Like a before and after?
No, I've only got an after, but I'm very pleased with the after. It's like what I wanted to achieve. And it took about 18 months.
It's not bad, to be fair.
But it was just all with your guidance.
And you tried really hard, didn't you? You were adapting through lockdown.
Yep.
You attached bands to your window and broke the window by being too strong. Ripped half the window off. All right then.
No, so I mean, I did stuff almost, I'd say 90% of the time in lockdown every day. 90% of the days I did some resistance training. So at the end of it all, I was really pleased just to have maintained my strength. I didn't.
You maintained your strength fabulously.
I didn't lose any, so that was good enough.
You did better than me. I lost
me.
strength, and I trained also.
Yeah.
But I definitely lost strength.
Yeah.
By the time I'd gotten back to the gym.
So.
But now we're back on top form and power. Hey hey.
Yep. And now after I've had a whole month off of doing. I was frightened to go back to the gym.
Yeah.
The first time was very, very wary, but I'm back, and even from the first session to the one I did the other day, strength picking back up. It comes back quickly.
Of course, yeah. Muscle memory is a real thing.
It is a real thing.
Yeah, it comes back. Yeah. It comes back fast.
So yeah, no, I mean I achieved my goal in that. You know what that was. So I don't.
Your bench press goal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't want to.
Good strength.
I didn't want to go any further with it. I just achieved what I wanted to, but now I'm just happy to just maintain. So yeah.
Yep. And what was your maximum bench press?
60 kilos.
60 kilos. Oh my God. That's absolutely raw power, isn't it? I would say the average lady who doesn't gym can probably do 10 to 15.
Really?
Yeah, but most ladies when they enter the gym, they can't. You know the long bars on the bench
Olympic
press.
bar, the
they're
20 kilo,
kg.
yes.
Yeah, most ladies can't do that.
Really?
Most ladies can't bench the bar. I couldn't bench the bar when I started at the gym.
Yeah.
I got stuck under the bar the first time I went to the gym
No.
and could not get it off. Literally, I couldn't even do the bar for one.
Wow.
A lot of ladies can't do the bar for one. So
I didn't know that.
yeah, I've trained so many ladies who, when I do start them off on obviously press ups and bodyweight exercises as well. But when we start moving over to the bench press, usually I get them to spin the opposite way on the bench press, so they're not under the bar; they're the opposite way upside down on the bench. And then I give them a small little 10 kg,
like the 10 kilo
little 10 kg pre-made bars, and then they just practice with that for maybe a session or two, and then start bumping it up. So you're maybe 4 to 6 times stronger than the average lady. Hey, it's pure power.
That makes me pretty happy.
It's pure power. It makes me watch my language when I speak to you.
Oh.
So, I'm only kidding.
I know.
I'm only kidding.
I know.
We've come to talk on this podcast though about menopause.
We have.
Haven't we?
We have.
Haven't we?
So I've given quite a lot of thought about what and how I want to talk about it.
Okay, good.
So I want to preface it by saying a couple of things. Firstly, I have 33 years of nursing in my background, not particularly to female gynecological stuff, but it does mean that I have a certain baseline knowledge, and I can also kind of read, research and get a fair understanding of it. And also I'm not specifically going to discuss my personal experience. Firstly, because a lot of it's very personal, as you know, because you know as much about it practically as my husband.
about you specifically.
About me.
Yeah. I know we've spoken about it before. And menopause is. I still think if you wanted to, it's still valid. Your personal experience is still valid experience.
Yeah, I might mention some things, but that's not what I don't primarily want to talk about my own.
You've not come here to talk about yourself. Aren't you cute? Aren't you cute?
Not really.
I think you are. But I understand what you mean, because menopause, like most things, has massive interpersonal variability where it just doesn't affect any two people the same at all.
Indeed.
And anything that we're going to talk about today in terms of side effects or bodily changes or treatments it's just not going to be the same really for any two people.
No. So what I do want to focus on is the general process and the big picture of all the stuff that is never mentioned.
Oh, okay.
And also want to talk about some of the resources that I've found, which have been extremely useful. And I did, I can't even remember how or why, but I did find a group on Facebook, which I will mention. And I know you're quite anti-Facebook groups in some respects.
I was going to say, because I run a Facebook group, so I can't be too anti.
Yeah, but I know that you do have reservations about Facebook groups.
In some ways, yes.
In some ways, yeah.
In some ways, yes.
But I think in short, from joining that group, I have completely managed and resolved every single one of my menopause symptoms. So I physically, mentally and psychologically now feel like I did pre-menopause.
Amazing, well done.
And that has had profound psychological effects for me that have been positive because I had a lot of struggles. A few years back I was kind of floundering with it all and just thinking this is just shit that I never imagined would happen, or I didn't even know any of this would happen to my body.
Yes.
Yeah. So I did actually, I've got my little set of notes. I did write some things down.
Of course.
Mainly because I don't want to miss anything. So just starting off, a couple of general terms. You hear perimenopause.
Yeah.
And peri means around.
Yes. Pre and post. And
and then you
all
hear
the P's.
Menopause itself and then post-menopause. So perimenopause means the starting of the transition to complete menopause, typically around 5 years.
What
duration.
The transition takes.
The transition, yeah.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, it's different for different people, isn't it?
This is a big general,
Yeah.
but it can be up to 10 years.
Yeah, for sure. For some people, it's quite sudden.
Yes,
for some people, it's quite lengthy, isn't it?
Everyone's an individual, obviously.
Absolutely.
So various changes start happening in your body, and with retrospect, these things were happening to me, but I didn't even know they had anything to do with menopause because they weren't specifically related at all to periods or any of that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Perimenopause, body starts changing, which I've got a whole list of symptoms to go through because some of them are really surprising. Periods become irregular, and as I said, you start to exhibit any, all, some of the symptoms of menopause.
Yeah, so menopause, I think the average age in the UK for somebody to enter menopause is 51.
51, correct.
So and it's usually comes on between ages of like 45 and 55, but some people can be before that.
Yes.
Some people can
quite
start
early.
Yeah, before 40. I think 1 in 100 people start changes before 40. And then what we're talking about in terms of changes is it's hormonal changes internally, isn't it?
Indeed.
Like the ovaries stop producing as much estrogen and it starts to slowly whittle itself down. Testosterone levels can change, and then this has a...
Going to mention that later too.
Good, because it's important, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Often under... I don't know what the word is. I was going to say underlooked at or underspoken about or not spoken about enough, maybe, isn't it?
Nothing.
Yeah, not often mentioned that much. A little bit more in America these days, I find. But it's hormonal changes internally, which then for some people leads to a downstream myriad of effects, doesn't it? Or side effects, whatever effects or side effects, whatever you want to call them. Yeah, both. Yeah. Like you're saying with the period changing and other things like this.
Yeah. So menopause itself is defined by 12 continuous months without a period. And then after you've hit that mark, you are categorised as post-menopause.
Yes.
So you've got the perimenopause when it all winds down, then your periods stop, and if you have no period for a consecutive, like without any breaks, nothing for 12 months, then you're considered to have arrived at menopause. So, and then after that, you're post.
Yes. And post-menopause can be quite different for some ladies as well, can't it? Because some people get relief of symptoms, some people don't. It can be another change. It can be a phase that passes, or sometimes not, can't it?
Yes, correct.
Again, it's different. I was speaking to... You reminded me of client stories all the time. I was speaking to a client a couple of weeks ago. She'd gone 6 months without a period or something, and then got another period. She was like, damn.
It's like I'm back to square one.
Yeah, because she's thinking, and obviously it is, like you said, winding down's a nice term to use. But I just spoke to another lady literally yesterday, and she said because I mentioned that we were going to do a podcast about menopause, and she said, I went through menopause and I didn't even know.
Far out.
She said literally no side effects, no nothing, smooth, didn't know anything about anything.
Nothing. Another thing that I read, I can't quote a source, but I've heard that the earlier you start your period, the later your menopause finishes.
Oh, okay. I'm not aware of this.
The earlier you start, the longer you will actually menstruate. And that's fucking unfair. Seriously.
Oh, yeah, I'm not sure of that. And there is changes lately, isn't there, with girls starting periods and stuff like this earlier.
Earlier and earlier.
Yeah. And people are investigating a whole host of different reasons, from body fat levels being higher overall on average, because body fat itself produces estrogen. Yeah. So then this has internal hormonal impacts, but also people are looking at plastics and like estrogens in in like pollution and in
additive
foods
things in
and
food, all sorts of
and
factors.
in just all these chemicals that are sort of man-made getting into the body, and some people are thinking that this seems to have some correlating factors. It's definitely doing things to animals as well.
Yes.
I don't know if you've heard about this, but from estrogen compounds that we create and use just as humans leaching through the sort of the earth into the rivers and then getting into the oceans, this is actually affecting fish and changing like fishes because they're in the water that then has estrogen in it. It's changing fish's actual physicality.
So what, fishes are growing boobs, or?
I'm not entirely sure how it works. I did see some information about some sort of semi-androgynous frogs.
Oh.
Some like frogs that were half male, half female due to hormones in the water that they were living. Something along those lines, don't quote me exactly.
That's a bit frightening.
It's having impacts on animals and humans, this is what I'm saying.
Yes,
So there's all kinds of different reasons, isn't it? But I wasn't aware of the early sort of periods starting equals longer.
Yeah, that's not fair, is it?
Periods in general just are another thing that's different for each person, aren't they?
Of course.
Some people crazy pain, crippling pain. Some people no pain.
Yeah.
Some people long periods, some people short periods. Some people mood impacts, some people no mood impacts.
Mine would dreadful.
Okay.
Dreadful.
In terms of what, pain or
heaviness and pain.
Okay.
And, you know, when you're a sort of a young teenager in school.
Yes.
It's just tough.
Yes.
It's tough. I didn't know what hit me.
No.
Yeah, because it was just all, geez, I never thought it was going to be like this.
It must be harder work being a lady than a man. I mean, I've never tried it, but
Don't.
you know, from the outside, it seems easier being me. Not gonna lie. Not gonna lie.
Afraid so, and I just think it's like a double whammy. You know, in general, you know, periods are not fun.
No.
And then this was something I wanted to touch on, that myself, like probably the majority of women, they think menopause is two things: that your periods stop and you think, yes,
yes,
can't wait, and then the hot flushes, which is you know, it's joked about. People think it's, you know, really funny.
Do they?
Yeah, it's not.
I've never heard anybody laughing at hot flushes, so I'm not sure.
But then that's literally, those two things are literally the tip of the iceberg of what happens with your body, and all the
they're
rest
just two
of it.
external visible symptoms. There's a million other things on the inside that are going on,
but
even psychologically.
But none of it's discussed. This was all new to me. It was just, I learnt along the way, because it was just what is all this shit?
Yeah, I guess people don't really teach you this kind of stuff, do they?
Why not? Why not?
Well, I don't know why not. I mean, I don't know. We're doing it. I'm trying now. We're doing it right now.
We're trying.
Yes,
we're doing our bit.
Here.
We're doing our bit.
We're here to save people. Nobody else has got your back. We do at Slum Society.
Yes.
Hello.
Yes.
Lovely to see you again.
Another little thing I just want to say, in the when you're officially post-menopausal, if you do have any kind of out of the blue vaginal bleeding, that needs to be investigated ASAP.
Post-menopausal, did you say? So after the menopause is done?
Post-menopausal vaginal bleeding needs rapid investigation.
Yes. Why? Because it could be something else.
It could be some cancerous thing.
It could be something else going on.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So if you are post-menopausal, meaning that you've fit the description of you hadn't had a period for 12 months or more, and then you do bleed.
Yes.
Don't just assume, it's a period again. Go get it checked out.
Nice tip there.
Yeah, it's very important. Really important. We want to emphasise that. That's why I've kind of put it in there.
That's powerful.
So the menopausal symptoms, even though you're post-menopausal, they can still continue for quite some years.
Yeah. Definitely.
Which again just sucks some more. As you know, in my Zumba classes, I teach the gentle version, and a lot of my ladies are in their 70s and some of them are
Zumba
in their
Gold,
80s.
is it?
Yep, Zumba Gold, yeah.
Zumba Gold, shouts out.
Some of them are still having hot flushes.
Yes.
So that's been like, you know, they've been having them for 20 years.
Have your hot flushes subsided now?
Now I'm on the right treatment. They're almost completely gone.
Almost completely gone?
Almost completely. I rarely have one, and they're not very bad.
And oh yes, okay.
Because they were absolutely vicious. That's the word I always use to describe them. They were absolutely vicious.
Yeah, I remember being with you many times,
Yep.
maybe at like Slim Society
Yep.
group meetings or
Yep.
just meet
Yes.
for coffee,
Yep.
and suddenly you were just sat here doing nothing, and suddenly you're just red and just
Yep.
sweating,
Yep.
and just pouring,
Yep.
just
It's
from the inside out.
yes. It's really uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And it's incredibly embarrassing. It kind of starts, generally speaking, hot flushes kind of start centrally and kind of work their way up.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
And I went and looked at myself in the mirror, visibly my whole chest and face really red, like I'd just done a whole Zumba class or something.
Yeah.
And just everything feeling like it felt like every single blood vessel in my torso and upper body completely and rapidly dilated, and then just the heat and then the sweat. And the sweat used to just be all of my arms, all my hands, all my torso, and bad enough to need to completely change my underwear and my clothes. And there's been many occasions at home when I had, you're going to laugh at this, I literally, for just a little bit of relief, I actually went and stuck my head in the freezer.
Oh, to cool yourself down.
Yeah, just a bit, yeah. Because it was a matter of just stripping off and mopping all the sweat, and I had like a million fans everywhere. Not the fans of like stardom, but
you had a million fans everywhere.
These sort of fans. Just
we love you, Anita. We love you.
I wish. Yeah, just everywhere, and Andrew was so well trained. It was just like if we were in the car or anything, I would just start like taking off my clothes, and he would like put the air conditioning on. Didn't matter how cold he was. It was like get the air conditioning on me or put the window, whatever, you know. Hideous. So, but now I'm on the adequate and correct treatment. They're so rare and they don't bother me.
That's lovely. I'm really glad to hear that.
Not as glad as I am.
I'm sure. And we'll talk about different treatment options and stuff coming up soon. I've just Googled to see if I could find out what the cause of the hot flushes were, and
estrogen.
Hormonal changes.
It's a sudden drop in estrogen level, but nobody actually knows why the estrogen drop actually facilitates the hot flush.
I've just tried to find out, and I also couldn't find a legitimate answer.
There's no answer.
The only answer that came up was hormonal changes leading to changes in body temperature control.
Which doesn't really mean anything.
No, that just means that.
That's stating what it is.
Yeah, it's just describing it directly. It
doesn't actually say.
It's not a real answer, is it?
Because, you know, like body temperature is monitored and maintained in your hypothalamus or something, and it's like, well, your estrogen level must affect that somehow, but yeah, there's no answer to that one as to the actual why.
Hormones have such insane sort of effects across the entire body.
Absolutely.
Across the entire body, they affect. Well, let's continue with the symptoms, and we'll see what. And this is not even everything that it affects. Obviously, these are just the things you can feel and that we can measure that change.
Yep.
But in men and women, testosterone and estrogen and progesterone and all these different hormones, they have impacts on so many different tissues and cells.
Absolutely,
and change so many things.
I just wrote a quick, sort of reasonably comprehensive list of all of the
quick but comprehensive. Okay.
Yes, signs and symptoms.
So you've got all the symptoms, but you're going to read them fast. Is that what you're saying?
As fast as I can. So hot flushes we've already discussed.
Yeah.
Night sweats, which for some reason I didn't get so much, but that bothers a lot of women. That's one of the very common ones, and I didn't get that as bad, and I don't know why.
Is night sweats then different to hot flushes, or is night sweats a hot flush at night?
I don't know.
I don't know.
So
I don't know.
Insomnia, whether that's directly related to the night sweats and the hot flushes at night, I don't know.
But sleep problems is very common. Just common in general.
Yep. depression and anxiety,
Yes, mood
and
changes.
it's very common for women. I've literally been a part to hundreds and hundreds of women's personal experiences from this Facebook group that I joined.
Yes.
And the number of them who went to the doctor and who were just very first port of call was to be prescribed antidepressants, when that's not what they need. They need estrogen.
Yes, or on the NHS website, it's also recommended as CBT as a treatment.
Sort of talking therapy stuff.
Yeah.
That's an adjunct.
It is an adjunct, yeah. Because it's not changing the source of the problem,
No,
it's just
and
trying to
then
counteract the symptoms. But
then you say, I mean, it's all this big web, because when I go into the more specific genital problems that then possibly cause relationship issues, it's a chicken and egg thing sort of thing, but not primarily to just say, oh, you're depressed, here's some tablets in a woman with menopausal symptoms.
Well,
it's not the first line of treatment.
I don't think it should necessarily, or I don't even think it is necessarily the correct line of treatment.
But that's what in women's personal experiences of,
that's what's
in
happened.
This group. This is what's happening. It's quite common.
Yeah, and it does happen to people that have got depression and anxiety in doctors without non-menopause related.
Yes.
Sometimes they go into the doctors to talk about it and immediately given tablets, and that isn't really the best way to go about it.
Not always, no.
No, sometimes it is.
Sometimes it is.
Sometimes it is, yeah. Antidepressants and anti-anxieties and stuff, they definitely have a place, and they're definitely useful for a lot of people.
Absolutely.
But also, there's other things that can be tried first, isn't it? Because like we've said, it fixes the symptom but not the source of the problem. Because if someone's feeling depressed or anxious, the question is why. It's not take this drug to stop the feeling, it's why is the feeling occurring in the first place. Can we attack the source of the problem to stop it before it starts going downstream? Sometimes the answer is yes, sometimes it's no. If it's no, then you're okay, you have to go for the tablets. Like some people with depression and anxiety, they have literal deficiencies in brain chemicals, don't they? So their brain actually cannot, under normal circumstances, produce normal sort of happiness hormones and endorphins and stuff like this. So no amount of CBT in the universe is necessarily going to help this person.
There's a place.
There's medication. Like I have testosterone replacement therapy because my body doesn't make it. So it's a medication that's required for me, if that makes sense. So I agree. There should be, if you can, maybe try other things first. I think is a good idea, isn't it?
What else can we move on to? Joint aches and stiffness.
Yes.
Problems with memory and concentration.
Yes.
Also known as brain fog.
Yes. Just to skip back though as well. It is really important because what you've just said there about joints and joint pain, joint stiffness, muscle loss, bone density loss. These are all symptoms, aren't they? Because I think sometimes maybe men and women don't necessarily understand how estrogen functions in the female body. It functions in a similar way to how testosterone functions in a man. The hormones in males and females do not have they have some same effects, but some differing effects. And estrogen is related very strongly also to strength, isn't it, and to muscles and bone density and bone strength, etc. So when estrogen's dropping, it's not only, like you said, your period stops, and everybody thinks about periods as well with like PMS or PMT and like mood changes. But it's also literally impacting your physical tissue. It's like your bones and your joints and your muscles are actually being negatively impacted by this lack of estrogen. And I feel like that's underestimated sometimes or not taken into account.
That was one of the things that I really wanted to make a point of, that estrogen is something that's needed or used or has effects sort of basically in your entire body.
In the entire body,
Anywhere that you have mucosal tissue, so eyes, mouth, nose, entire GI tract, entire genital and urinary tract, all affected by estrogen.
Because also increased urinary tract infections is also a symptom.
Got to go down to that,
isn't it? Because it gets into, like you said, it's literally affecting nearly all the physiology and also the psychology at the same time. These changes, aren't they? There's a name for hormones affecting. a wide range of tissues, and I can't remember what it is.
No,
I can't remember
either.
what it is. I've forgotten.
It'll come to you.
It's not. It probably won't, but let's move on.
Yeah. Decreased libido,
Yes.
palpitations, dry nose, dry eyes, dry mouth, anal itching, and then I want to then come to, in 2014, and some American body, I can't remember who it was, they kind of put forward or approved, or whatever you want to call it, a term, I think it was GUSM, I think, or genital urinary symptoms of menopause.
That makes sense.
And
okay.
it's just a blanket term to cover all the things that women experience throughout their entire genital and urinary system.
Yes.
As a result of the lack of estrogen.
Yes.
The list is long.
Okay.
And in one respect it just blows my mind, and in the other respect it just makes me so angry that these incredibly uncomfortable and life-changing symptoms are so rife, and GPs have so little knowledge about it. It just makes me furious. It really, really does. Anyway, so...
Go for the list.
Yeah, here we go.
Go for it.
It's long.
Ding, 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 ding.
Vaginal dryness, burning, itching, skin irritation, the entire... everything doesn't happen to every person, but, you know, when you have external and internal thinning of the mucosal skin of the labia, the clitoris, the vagina, it all becomes very thin and fragile and dry and can tear so easily. So that leads to also decreased vaginal lubrication. That causes really painful sex, skin tearing, bleeding, superficial, but because the skin tears, it bleeds.
It's not a good time.
Changing and shrinkage of the labia and clitoris, and you can also get actual fusing of the hood over the clitoris to the clitoris. So that just makes the orgasm impossible because the skin's just fused. So you get lack of orgasms, and you've got the low libido, bleeding with sex, skin tearing, and then all the urinary symptoms, which frequent UTIs, urinary tract infections, urgency, pain, passing urine, and having to get up to wee 6, 7, 8 times a night, but feeling like you want to go, but then you can
Sometimes
only just wee a few mils and it burns. Thankfully, I didn't actually struggle with urinary symptoms, but there's women who are just feeling like insane with lack of sleep because they've been up 8 and 10 times a night trying to wee.
And you've got night sweats and hot flushes and insomnia on top.
Yep.
God, it's awful.
Yep.
Oh, no.
Yep.
No.
So, just a little bit of anatomy and physiology. There's estrogen receptors in the vagina, vulva, the musculature of the pelvic floor, pelvic fascia, the urethra, and the bladder. In particular, the inside of the bladder, sort of more towards the back, there's 2 openings, and they are where the ureters come down from either kidney. Urine's made in the kidney, it comes down the ureters, so there's 2 openings, and the urine passes into the bladder. The urethral opening, which is the opening from the bladder to the outside, is more towards the front. So those 3 points, 2 entry points from the ureters and then 1 exit point down the urethra and to the outside, basically form a triangle, and that's called the trigone. And that is the spot that is sensitive to how full your bladder is. and it's also got estrogen receptors in it. So if you have a lack of estrogen, that doesn't function anymore, hence wanting to wee when you've hardly got any wee in your bladder. You know, that area that used to function, like, you know, when you had a few hundred mils in your bladder and you think, oh, I need to go, that all goes out the window. And then burning because, again, lack of estrogen too, and just all the general mucosa just makes it really uncomfortable. Oh, forgot I wrote that. Also, you get decreased collagen, and elastin, and thinning of the epithelium. That's the layer of cells on the come on, brain.
Are you talking about across?
Yeah, mucosa. That's what I was after.
Are you talking about across the whole body?
Yes. Yes.
Or, you know, with the decreased collagen and stuff like this. That's what I was wondering. Okay, interesting.
Altered smooth muscle function, decreased in the amount in the blood vessels, and increased density of connective tissues. Decreased, so that all that stuff, specifically talking about genital urinary symptoms, lead to things like decreased elasticity of the vagina. So vaginal walls are quite convoluted, so they can stretch for birth and intercourse. So less elastic, a change in vaginal pH, which causes change in vaginal flora, which can lead to the burning, the itching, the stinging, the UTIs, all that kind of stuff. Getting more into the sex part of thing, if your vagina becomes atrophied, anything that atrophies kind of shrinks and basically loses its colour and its appearance and elasticity. So if you have a vagina that has atrophied, so it actually can't stretch as much, and there's so many women in the group who literally have not been able to have intercourse with their partner for months, years, because it's too painful. Like something that's not going to, if the vagina doesn't sort of open, which when you become aroused, it does kind of grow, so you've got space for a penis to move in and out, or whatever you're using. I don't care what people use.
No, neither do I.
Well, so if you've got a tight atrophied vagina that just doesn't increase in size, then intercourse is going to be so painful that you just can't do it. So put that with a decreased libido, a lack of ability to, suddenly you can't have an orgasm anymore, you can't have intercourse, you don't actually really feel like it, and it's got quite profound effects on people's opinion of themselves and their relationship with their partner. So many women, same thing, read so many people's experiences, and the group that I'm in is a worldwide one. It's not just a UK one.
Do you want to shout out the name of the group?
Oh, yeah. Not the best name in the world, but it's actually called Vaginal Atrophy.
Okay, on Facebook?
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
So that's literally what you type into the search bar?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. It's a worldwide group. So there are moderators in the group that are in the US and have specific, quite in-depth knowledge about sort of US medications. Then there's the UK moderators, there's some Australian ones as well. And there's an absolute wealth of files and information that you can access in this group. That's what I basically manage my own with no help from my GP. And it's only because of that group that I'm in the place that I am now, where I've completely reversed everything that I struggled with.
Excellent.
Yeah, it's just literally can't even say. It's just
Giving you parts of your life back, hasn't it?
yeah, yes,
Yeah, and
yes, yeah,
reduced a lot of physical and psychological stresses and impacts you were feeling on just a day-to-day basis.
mentally I was in a very, very bad place, and I struggled for a long time, and I just couldn't. I thought there was no answers and no solutions and no way out, and that was how my life was going to be from then on. And I just, it was shit, really shit. Talked about that.
So have we been through the symptoms then, or do we have more?
No, that's kind of the big overview. So
We've been through, there's a lot though.
yeah, so the whole genital urinary symptoms, that whole group, and then the other things of the mood, libido, dry mouth, dry eyes, dry nose, all the other things.
Concentration,
well.
like we said, brain fog,
memory,
memory,
all
flipping
sorts.
bones, joints, muscle loss, weakness,
It's a fun time,
lethargy,
isn't it? Yep.
fatigue, insomnia, pain,
Yeah.
flipping, all of it.
Not good.
No,
It's not like you would say. It's not a good time.
it's not a good time.
It's not a good time.
It's not the same time for all ladies. Like the lady
No.
I was speaking to 2 days ago.
Yep.
I mean,
Wow.
I'm good for her.
Yeah. Lucky
Nothing.
her. Yeah.
Nothing.
But she wouldn't even know that what she's escaped. Probably because.
It's just different for different people, isn't it?
But most people don't even know this is even a possibility that it's. I knew zero about any of this. I didn't know any of this was coming my way, or even possibly could.
People are sometimes surprised that I know about these things, but it's just because my target market and the people I work with are
Most
probably on average like 40 to 60-year-old ladies.
Yep.
Yeah, so
Yep.
not everybody that I coach, but most people that I coach are experiencing some sort of menopause symptoms at some point.
Yes.
Literally.
Yeah.
So it comes up all the time.
You've heard lots of stories.
All the stories,
Yeah.
all the time.
Yep.
Yeah, so I'm used to this and have to... it's not my job to deal with it, but I have to help people cope with it sometimes. And when we come to treatments and things you can do to help, diet and exercise and healthy eating and stuff is a big part of it as well, along with sometimes medication and hormone. Yeah, pretty much as always. Looking after your body helps. Surprise, surprise.
Yeah.
Who knew? Who knew?
We did.
Well, actually, you're right. We actually did. And so do the listeners at home now.
Yep.
Welcome back to the Slum Society Show, ladies and gentlemen, where we tell you to eat better and move more.
Yep.
Ding, ding, ding.
Yep. There it is. There it is. So one of the really important resources I found in this group, and this is easily available. You just need to Google this and it'll come up. Called NICE guidelines.
Nice guidelines, yeah, of course.
We've talked about this, and
Of course,
you know
yeah.
of these. So NICE stands for National Institute for Health and Care Excellence, and you can look up NICE guidelines for pretty much anything.
They've screwed it on the acronym, though, haven't they? It stands for, that doesn't say nice. What are those words that you just described?
I know.
Say that again. What does it really say?
National Institute for Health and Care Excellence. So they've
That's NIHC.
yeah, I know. They've missed.
NIHC.
I think they've missed a couple of letters just to make it a
Make
nice,
it sound
easy,
cute, haven't they?
easy
'Cause
word.
it sounds like nice guidelines.
Yeah,
but it's the
at
NIHC
least
guidelines.
it's, that doesn't sound so good.
Well, no, it doesn't roll off the tongue, but it's more technically accurate.
But it is easy. NICE is easy to remember.
Sounds cute.
Yeah.
We'll let them have it.
Yeah. So I've not really used it for anything else, but I would assume that this is certainly not specific just to menopause.
No, there's nice guidelines for all different health and fitness and loads of things. Yeah, loads of things.
So what you can find in the menopause guidelines are a whole lot of kind of like flow charts of and basically the standard of care that you should be able to receive from your doctor.
Okay.
In terms of diagnosis and treatments, what's appropriate, what's not. It's pretty much a gold standard of
Agreed.
what the standard treatment that you are entitled to get.
Yep, I use NICE guidelines. Pregnancy is one of my specialty areas, and I use NICE quote sometimes and reference NICE guidelines for things like this. They are a good source, I agree.
Yeah. It also, it tells you how your menopausal stage should be diagnosed. And these guidelines, I mean, you can easily print them off and take them along to your doctor's appointment if you ever actually get in to see one. And if they're not giving you what you feel that you should have, then you've got an absolute right to say, this is in the guidelines, I want to try this.
Yes.
Again, just because of the stories from the women in this group, you know, I had quite a fight to get on the treatment that I'm on now. It took months.
Same for me with my testosterone replacement therapy.
I remember you told me that story.
It took me years and years and years and years and years. Yeah, and I had many arguments and stormed out many times and told them to discharge me because I'm not even interested.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I remember when you were telling me my story, like early on in your story, I thought, why didn't they put you on testosterone at the point in your life when you were a teenager?
It's a good question. I don't know.
Yeah, that came to me quite early, and I thought, that's not even my area of expertise. And it's like, why did you not get that when it was appropriate timing?
It's a very good puberty. Yeah, it's a very good question. And then the types of testosterone that they gave me were not good or appropriate for me personally. They started me off on a gel, which is common, but it's not good. Well, for me anyway, the testosterone gel wasn't very good.
No.
It wasn't very effective and it was very awkward to use. And then they put me on a 3-monthly injection.
Yeah.
And it was an absolutely huge injection, like 4 milliliters of oil, like a full big syringe.
Ow, that's going to hurt.
The first time I had it, I passed out.
Yep, not surprised.
The first time I literally passed out.
Yeah.
And I would get radiating spinal pain because it would be injected into the top of the glute muscle and then it would inflame the glute and the lower back so much that it would send like radiating pain for like a week up and down my legs and stuff. And the hormone treatment of that kind just wasn't even working for me very well. It would spike my testosterone levels absolutely to ridiculously high levels.
And that's not good.
That's not really good.
No.
And then over the 3 months, they would drop. No, and I could feel after it got past about 1.5 months, definitely to 2 months, I could feel my energy levels declining, my motivation declining, my mood declining, my strength in the gym was going down, everything. And I just started to feel worse and worse and worse until next time they gave me the injection and it boosted back up. And I was like, I can't deal with this.
That's not stable.
No,
this
is not stable whatsoever.
No.
And they would blood test me, and the normal testosterone range is 6 to 30. Units not important, but you can tell 6 to 30 is a big flipping range. It's a big range. And it would spike me off the chart as soon as I had the injection. But because it didn't drop below 6, but they said, all right, come back in 2 months then when you feel like you're not feeling good and we'll test you. Because it hadn't gone below 6, they wouldn't change it. Because they were like, no, you're still in the normal range. I was like, no, but it goes, you're spiking me off the chart completely, and then it's dropping down to like 1/3 of what it was.
And the relative difference.
It's crazy spikes up and down. I could feel this, and it was impacting my physical health. And I've got stretch marks here on my chest because I was training in the gym, and then they'd inject me with this testosterone, and I'd get a lot stronger for like flipping 2 or 3 weeks. At the beginning, I'd be making gains. Making gains. But then it'd start to just filter back out at the end. I just thought that, and I had to have some right arguments to try and get a more stable treatment for years and years and years, literally. Now it's better, but it was a fight, just like yours. Anyway, I'm sorry for derailing the conversation.
No, it's still relevant because, like I said earlier on, just equal parts of disbelief and anger that GPs' knowledge is just so poor, and this is 50% of the population is going to be experiencing this at some point. Sooner or later, it's going to happen to 50% of the people.
You're right. You're right.
Again, just taking from people's personal stories that I've read in the group. This is a couple of examples. This is what GPs have told people. This is quite common. You know, people saying that they can't have intercourse anymore and it's painful and it's this and it's that, and being told, even by a female GP, let alone a male, basically use it or lose it. So tell me, if your genitals, it was really agonising to have sex and your skin tore and it bled and it was so painful, would you want to have sex more often?
No.
Thank you. Of course you wouldn't. Like, this is not a car we're talking about, or I don't know what a good analogy is, but it just, you know, when the solution is estrogen, not having more sex.
Yeah, that's not. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense as an answer. It's not really.
How irrelevant and just fucking stupid that comment is.
Yes.
Just rubbish.
Yes. And not even technically correct.
It's not even. It's not thought. It's not.
It's not going to fix it if you do that more.
No.
That's not going to fix it.
Let's tear the skin more. Let's have more painful sex.
Why would that help?
Yeah, who wants to do that anyway?
Why would it help either?
Yeah, I know it wouldn't. It's not going to help. No, probably just make it worse.
It might make it worse.
Make it a lot worse.
It might make it worse if you're actually injuring the area, and it might impact psychologically as well, because it's just going to put you off more and more and more.
Oh. I remember this other woman, I think she was like fairly new in the group. So in the UK, I think one of the most common HRT treatments is a thing called Estrogel, and it's an alcohol-based gel, and you just rub it into your skin every day.
Similar to the testosterone one I had. Yeah. Very similar.
So she'd been given that.
Yeah.
So she was doing that. That was all right. I don't think she'd not long started on it. And she also had some vaginal symptoms, you know, the usual things of, you know, dry, painful intercourse, itchy, irritated skin and all the rest of it. Her GP actually told her to put that estrogel on her labia.
When she's got dry skin and it's got alcohol in?
It's alcohol-based.
It's alcohol-based?
And the GP told her to put it on her external genitals to help with the local symptoms.
Okay.
Which
topical estrogen,
completely different.
They are a thing.
Yes,
they're a real thing. They're a real thing, aren't they?
They're a real thing.
But yeah, they're real. But not alcohol based when you've got dry sore skin.
They're two completely different things.
No.
No. So everyone in the group went, "Don't do this. Don't even try it. Don't even try it. Don't." You know, there's all these answers saying, "Please don't do this." That GP's an idiot. So there's those kinds of things that are going on, and these are not isolated things. These are so common. And so moving on to treatment. So the two kind of tenets are that you have your hormone replacement therapy, so systemic estrogen.
Yes.
It can be, where did I write down? I wrote some notes on this as well. So it can be delivered tablets, patch or gel. I don't know a lot about that.
Okay.
I'm on the gel
that
you rub in every day.
Yeah.
And I think that's the most common thing. And I don't know a lot about the patches or the tablets, and there's contraindications for the tablets, or I think there's some specific clinical things, like if you've something to do with, if you've still got a uterus, you might need progesterone as well. I don't know anything about that, not pretending to.
Okay.
But so HRT, systemic, which means it affects your whole body. So it can be tablets, patches or gel.
Mm-hmm.
So then moving on to topical treatment. So you can get estrogen cream that is specifically made for topical, meaning it's just for the urinary genital system, basically. The concentration of estrogen in the vaginal cream for topical use is tiny. It's
Okay.
minuscule compared to what you get with your dose of HRT.
Yes.
So any doctor that tells you you cannot have topical estrogen with HRT is talking out their ass. They don't know what they're talking about.
Okay, so that's incorrect, is it?
Absolutely incorrect.
Okay.
And, would be like that's clearly stated in the NICE guidelines.
And I don't know whether you know the answer to this question or not. I definitely don't. Does the topical cream have different effects to the systemic one? Because, like, for example, with the testosterone one, if where you put it on your body doesn't really make that much difference. Like, it's not absorbed in that kind of way. It gets into the bloodstream, then it has to go around, and then it's absorbed still systemically. I don't know whether that's the same for the estrogen or not, do you?
The topical stuff is completely different. So they're all cream-based things. So
yeah. So sorry. What I'm asking.
Sorry, did I misunderstand you?
I don't know. I don't know if I explained poorly. What I'm wondering, let's say, let's use the example of my testosterone gel again. If I put it onto the sides of my shoulders, you don't build more muscle in the shoulders.
No.
That's not how it works.
No.
You don't put it places and then it doesn't absorb into that place and have localized effects. That's not how it works. You put it onto the body, then it absorbs into the bloodstream, gets distributed, and it still has systemic effects.
Yep.
So I'm wondering, does the topical gel for the estrogen, does it have actual localized effects on the place that you put it, or is it just a different way of getting it into the blood and then it just has the normal systemic effect as well?
Yeah, so the stuff that's kind of called the HRT is you just rub it into your skin, the gel.
Yeah.
And that works on your whole body.
Yeah, the same as the testosterone one I had.
Yes.
Yeah.
So the stuff that you use topically, meaning you specifically use that particular product for the genital urinary symptoms.
Yeah.
And that addresses that.
Okay.
Only.
Okay. Okay, thank you. That does answer the question.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does, yeah. I was just wondering if where you put it actually made a difference or not, but you're seeming to say that it does. It's a... Yeah,
so everyone I had to work out my own regime. There's different kind of products that are available. I'll back up a bit. So to manage the genital and urinary symptoms, generally speaking, people need three things. So you need an estrogen cream. So note that it's cream, so it's a ointment or a cream, sort of oil-based thing.
Okay.
Not alcohol-based.
Okay. Yeah.
Right. And I think the one that's in the UK is called Ovestin, and it's a tiny, tiny, tiny concentration in comparison. I think it was something like the dose of Ovestin that you put on. No, what did I read? Something like if you use Ovestin every day, you wouldn't even get close to what you used in one dose of HRT systemic.
That makes sense.
So it's tiny.
Yes.
Okay, so estrogen cream for internal vaginal application 3 to 4 times a week, and then you can use it externally every night. And basically, you can just, you can it's useful to put it on the urethra as well, because various urethral symptoms, the burning, the stinging and all that stuff, it helps that. So you're going to use the Ovestin vaginally, but also externally on all of your external genitals, like all around the labia, clitoris, genital, urethra, like I said, vaginal opening, if maybe you don't know this term, fourchette, which is where your vagina comes down and the skin kind of joins back again, the labia come down where they join back again at the bottom. That's called the fourchette there. That's the bit where that gets cut just there for when they do episiotomies when you deliver. You're looking a bit shy.
No, I just didn't understand the word that you said when you said it's the bit that gets cut when what, sorry?
when
That's
people
why I was
have,
pulling a face.
When people have episiotomies, when they
I don't know what that is, episiotomy.
Okay. When a baby's head's being delivered,
Okay.
the vaginal entrance is like pretty stretched.
Okay.
Because the head's got to come out and then the shoulders. So sometimes to avoid the skin tearing, actual ripping, and you can have a tear all the way down to the anus if it's really bad.
Okay.
So to avoid that uncontrolled tearing, they do a thing called an episiotomy, which is actually cutting.
Oh.
Your eyes are watering.
Oh, stop it.
Which is actually cutting, so it's a controlled thing and easier to suture, so heals better than a rip.
Okay, great.
Okay, so the fourchette is the bit where your labia comes down and joins together at the bottom of the vagina.
Yeah.
Right down. So,
it all sounded fine until it got sliced. Honestly, it was all going well until that point.
Oh, I wish I'd have taken a photo of your face. That was cute. Anyway, where were we?
You were talking about where to put the cream and you were describing all the different places.
Yeah, right. Okay, so all of the external genitals, and I think when the fourchette is an area that tears quite easily during intercourse when there's a lack of lubrication and stuff. So putting the estrogen cream down there as well helps. So 2 other things that you can possibly need, a general moisturising cream, which you just apply externally. There's several different ones, and that's really a matter of finding one that suits you. There's different brands, you know. Boots make one, blah, blah, blah. There's stuff called Epiderm that I use, and they make a cream and an ointment. I use the Epiderm cream every night, and I accidentally bought the ointment by mistake, and I nearly was stuck to the roof. It didn't suit me. It hurt. It stung.
Okay.
But other people think Epiderm ointment is the best thing ever. So
interesting.
Same thing. Everyone's different. It's a matter of finding the regime and the products that suit you. The third thing that you can use, which is really helpful, is there's a specific one made for genital application. The product is Hyaluronic Acid, which you've probably heard of. Mm-hmm. It's in a lot of face, skin preparations, moisturising stuff. What happens is the stuff actually goes into the cell and it draws moisture into the actual cells, so they plump up. So anything that makes the cells plumper is a good thing. Mm. So, when you're talking generally about the external genitals being atrophied and, unlubricated and thin, fragile skin, with topical estrogen, hyaluronic acid and a moisturiser, you can actually completely restructure the appearance and function of your genitals to how they were before menopause.
All right, list those 3 things again.
Okay, topical estrogen.
Topical estrogen.
So 3 to 4 times a week vaginally. You can also use the hyaluronic acid vaginally as well, which is useful just for general plumping up of the vaginal walls. Then those 3 things externally every night.
Yeah. Moisturiser,
hyaluronic acid, and estrogen.
Yeah. All right, good. Wanted to reaffirm that for people listening.
Yep. So, like I said, that with the hyaluronic acid and moisturisers, there's a number of different products.
Where are people going to get these things? Online, Boots, Amazon? What we're saying?
All of the above.
Any of it just widely available?
The hyaluronic acid and the general moisturisers, you don't need script for either of those. Cool. You can just buy them, Amazon, eBay, Boots.
Nice.
The Epiderm that I use, I actually buy at the pharmacy in Tesco.
Nice.
Yeah, it's costs £3 or £4.
Pharmacies then have got these things on stock.
Yep.
Nice.
Boots make their own brand of hyaluronic acid. Oh, the hyaluronic acid that I use is called Hyalofemme. So it's HYALOFEMME. That's just the brand name.
Yeah.
Yep. So that particular regime for me of using all that external stuff and the topical estrogen vaginally and externally, game changer for me. Absolute game changer. So if this even helps one person, well.
Oh, it's definitely going to.
Yeah, I hope so.
It's definitely going to.
Also quickly wanted to touch on, because this was relevant to me personally, the myth around HRT and breast cancer.
Interesting.
Yeah. So as well as that general belief that I had that was just like, oh, menopause equals period stopping and hot flushes, I also had the belief that because my mother has had breast cancer, that I could never have HRT.
Oh.
That's a general thing that floats around and everybody believes it.
Do they?
Yeah.
Oh, I've never heard this. Well, I was going to say I've never heard this.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, it's not correct.
Oh, right.
It's not correct. I just want to say that with the breast cancer thing, I'm going to talk about me specifically, because I don't want to say that everybody who has a first degree relative who's had breast cancer or anything like that to do with breast cancer. I don't know a lot about it, but I researched for my individual situation.
Yes.
So I had that belief that because my mum had had breast cancer, I could never have HRT. So that's why I just struggled for 5 years, and I was never offered it.
Wow.
I was told by the doctor, no, you can't have it.
Oh, so the doctor told you that?
Yeah.
Oh.
So, little side note, other thing that I learnt from the vaginal atrophy group was that there are at least two in England, menopause nurse specialists. You can self-refer. They are private. They are expensive, and I was lucky that we could afford for me to have a consultation. So it was quite a long and detailed consultation that I had.
If it's okay with you, can we say how much it costs, just in case people are thinking, can I afford it or not?
Yeah, sure. It was £150.
I don't think that's that bad. Well, I mean, that's just my opinion.
The result for me was I was very happy to pay. That was worth every.
I mean,
worth
that's
every
what
penny.
I was thinking. Yeah, that's even if you have to save for a bit. If
I know it's a lot of money. I understand that, and I know that there would be people that possibly couldn't afford it. But
I mean, it's an expensive consultation, but
bloody hell, it was worth it.
Yeah, if you need to get your help, you need to get help, don't you?
Yes, literally changed my whole life.
Yeah, and I would say it is important. Throughout this conversation, we've spoke about doctors a lot, and it is important for people to involve doctors in anything to do with hormone changes. You should contact your GP.
Absolutely.
But then you should talk to the GP about it. You should try and get them to help you. But then, like you said, if you struggle,
you possibly will not get the help that you need.
Yeah, if you struggle, if you can't get in appropriate time, if it's running ragged on your health, and they say like, oh yeah, we'll see you in 9 months, and you're thinking no, then you can just go private. This is also a real thing. You
can also request to be referred to the NHS menopause clinic, which obviously is free.
Okay, interesting.
There's that option as well.
Yeah. Because like you were saying about GPs not having the most knowledge in this specific area, that is true, but there are specialists to be referred to. GPs are they're called a general practitioner, aren't they?
Yes.
They're not really...
they're not specialists in any one thing?
Yeah, well, assuming that the GP themselves hasn't done different jobs in the NHS, which a lot of them have, so they might have had prior specialities in different areas. But yeah, their current job as a general practitioner is to basically assess symptoms and then either give treatment for symptoms or refer to special. Yeah, they either refer or give treatment for symptoms generally.
Yes.
So if you're not happy with what the GP is saying, you can ask for a referral. If you're still not happy with that, you can go private and get it sorted elsewhere.
Yes. But I do think that
I do my testosterone private.
Yeah. But I do think that given 50% of the population that a GP sees will eventually be dealing with some sort of menopausal thing, I think it's reasonable to expect them, or at least have a person in the practice that has a little bit more knowledge.
Yeah.
I'll mention the two nurse specialists as well,
Yeah,
their
please.
names and the
Please.
names of their clinics. But
Please.
one of them has offered, it was just after the documentary that Davina, what's her name? Davina McCall, yeah.
Oh, okay.
She did a
Oh, she
documentary.
did, yes, about menopause, yes.
That was good because it was a good starting point for a lot of different points of conversation. She didn't hone in on any one specific thing, but she covered a lot of general things, and it was excellent. But on the back of that, one of the nurse specialists, she is offering for 12 months, it's probably about 8 months now, every clinic in the UK a free training session for one member of staff from every GP's surgery. And I recommended that mine do it, and I sent them the link, and I would love to find out if they did it or not, because I bet they bloody didn't. Anyway, moving on.
I recommend you brush up on your knowledge. Here's a link.
Yes. That's literally exactly what I said. Amazing. I recommend that you do this.
Amazing.
Because there'd been letters going backwards and forwards, and they were refusing to do certain things that the nurse specialist had recommended and communicated to them, and it was just bullshit. It was just bullshit. So one of the nurse specialists' name is Dr. Louise Newson.
Louise Newson.
Newson, and I can't remember the name of her actual clinic practice because I didn't go to her.
I'll see if I can Google it now while you say the next one.
And the other one is Diane Porterfield, and her practice is called Bourne, Bourne, 2 Care.
Sorry, I'm just Googling this. Yeah. Does she have a book called All You Need to Know in One Concise Manual, it seems?
Louise Newson?
Yeah.
Yes, I do believe she's written some stuff as well.
Is she menopausedoctor.co.uk?
Yep, that would be her.
Launched by Dr. Louise Newson.
Yeah.
Menopausedoctor.co.uk.
Yeah.
A good URL?
Yep.
Good URL. Yep. Snag that one.
So, and the other person is Diane Porterfield.
Diane Porterfield,
yep.
Okay.
Who I went to. And yes, her practice is called Born to Care.
Born to Care.
So yes, you can self-refer to either of these. You don't need your doctor's permission for that.
Sure.
And as I said, that was an absolute life changer for me, having that. What she asked me was, how old was my mum when she got breast cancer?
Okay.
And my mum was in her 60s. She said, what's relevant is not that so much that your first degree relative has had cancer, it's how old they were.
Okay.
Because the older you get, the higher chance you have of getting cancer. That's I've actually Googled that and done some reading in it, and I think by the time you get to your 70s, it's something like you've got I don't know, it's 1 chance in 6 or 8, or it's quite low.
Of any type of cancer, or you mean breast cancer?
Any.
Yeah, like for men, like risk of prostate cancer gets very, very high as you start to get older and older and older and older.
Yeah. So she said if my mum had been 30 and she'd gotten breast cancer, I probably wouldn't have been able to have HRT, but she said she was 60 something. She said perfectly safe. She said she sent me some literature. I read it. I made the decision by myself, not
interesting,
not from because she said.
Yeah.
So I did some reading and decided that it was worth. It's so small, the increased risk, that also you have to balance out a very small increase in the chance of me getting breast cancer because I'm using HRT, tiny, versus now I'm on HRT, I now have protection against osteoporosis and cardiovascular disease. Those two things are huge.
And stronger muscles and stronger bones and joints and stuff, and this is related with decreased all-cause mortality and all kinds of stuff.
Hospital admissions, die in hospital.
Of course.
So tiny increased risk over here.
Decreased risk in other areas.
2 huge decreases in risk on this side. It's a risk balance analysis thing.
Yeah, one of my...
Which I chose to take because I think it's...
Yeah, and that's each person's personal opinion, isn't it?
Yeah.
There is a tiny increased risk in breast cancer. That is true. It's because breast cancer is an estrogen-related cancer. So if you've got continued levels of estrogen, then it's an increased amount.
Yep.
That is a real thing. I am friends with a high-level female hormone replacement doctor in the NHS, and have spoken to him about I've asked him a million questions about flipping menopause hormone replacement. He says also that the earlier you can start the menopause treatment, the decreased risk of all issues and side effects and cancer and stuff like this there is. He told me that what seems to be more of an issue is if somebody lets their estrogen drop down really low for a significant period of time, and then you start boosting it back up, that seems to have increased risk of side effects and symptoms versus somebody who notices it dropping and then just starts replacing it.
Nips it early.
Yeah, so that it just continues where it always was. That seems to be better than letting it drop and bringing it back. So his advice was to advise my people.
Get it early.
Yeah, if you feel like you've got symptoms, go talk to your doctor, go start looking at your symptoms. You can get blood tests and stuff. They can look at your estrogen levels. There's a variety of things you can do. And if you want to give it a try, maybe give it a try early. And it's not a forever thing either. It's not like you have to decide you're on hormone replacement and then that's it. You've just got to stick with it until you die. You can stop if you want to.
If you want to.
Yeah, if you want to.
Also, that's another one of those myths floating around that I subscribe to. I don't know why. That if you start HRT, you can only have it for a few years and then they're going to stop it anyway.
Oh, really?
I don't know where this shit comes from, but this was in my mind
I've
as
heard
well.
of this again.
Yeah.
No, I don't know.
And it's just like, that's actually not true.
No.
It's not true. It's like, what are you going to... If someone gets, if they're an insulin-dependent diabetic, you're going to say, well, yes, you need insulin, but you can only have it for 5 years and then you have to stop.
Hopefully not, because they'll die.
No, because they'll die. I mean, okay, so, if you don't have...
Well, it's the same with my testosterone replacement therapy. If I don't have it, I won't die. I'll just be really ill forever. I'll die faster, and I'll have decrease quality and quantity of life. I won't die now, but slowly things will decline.
Same, and there's, my understanding from what I've read and spoken to, nurse specialists and so on, that you can continue to take HRT into your very old years if you want to.
Interesting, yeah.
Yeah. I certainly intend to. What else have I written? How are we going for time?
We can take as long as you want. It doesn't matter. We've been 1 hour 19 currently. That clock doesn't work up there,
Oh, right.
It's literally always 3:45 in this room. You never age when you come onto a podcast with me. That's how it goes. Time stops.
Wow. I might stay here for a while. No.
Yeah, you can camp here. You'll get a few extra days. It's always 4:45 in here.
I do not have a problem with getting older.
I just don't want to take the clock down because it's awkward to get it back up. I just don't want to change the battery, so I've just left it. It's just that's what time it is now.
I like that idea.
That's what time it is.
Cool. It's always
just what it's going to be.
Just a little thing on testosterone replacement for women, which is a thing.
It's definitely a thing. So,
first of all, you will not be started on testosterone and estrogen at the same time. You have to have optimal levels of estrogen first before you can start testosterone.
Okay.
Reason being, if you are lacking in estrogen and you are started on testosterone, your body will convert the testosterone to estrogen.
Aromatization.
And so the testosterone won't be doing anything because it's being converted. So if you're started on HRT and you also feel the need that you, or feel like you would like to try testosterone, you need to be on, I think they usually say HRT for 3 months and then do blood levels and check where your estrogen is. And if it's at an optimal level, then introduce the testosterone. So testosterone's a bit tricky. In this country, women can only be prescribed the gel that's manufactured for men. So,
really? There isn't a specific one?
Yeah, it's in a little sachet, but you take like about what one man would take every day, you spread it out over a week.
Okay, interesting.
So small dose of testosterone. In Australia, go Australia.
Shout out to the homeland.
Yes, that's it. they have developed a testosterone replacement that's specifically for women.
Good.
It's called Androfem. Anything to do with the NHS, like even the menopause specialists, will not prescribe it.
Yeah, it doesn't say anything about testosterone replacement therapy on the NHS website for menopause at all.
So if you want the Androfem, which is the specific female one that's been developed in Australia, again, it would need to be prescribed by one of the private clinical nurse menopause specialists that we mentioned before, and you also pay, and it's £100 a tube.
Is it? And how long does a tube last?
3 months.
Okay, so it's 30 a month or something-ish.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's got a little cost to it there.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
but it can also be a life changer.
Yes, so that's an option if you...
I think cut down one takeaway and then we're on the gel.
Yeah.
If you want it.
Yeah.
Then we're on healthy eating and we're on flipping hormone replacement. Here we go. You can't even get 2 pizzas from Pizza Hut for 30 quid.
Dual benefit.
Here we go. See, I'm a thinking man. See
I know. I know this.
Creating balance.
So you've got... the testosterone helps with energy levels, some brain clarity, I think, and also libido.
Yeah, for sure.
So you've got 2 options. Or first of all, you need to have your estrogen at an optimal level. Then you've got 2 options. If you will, depending on your GP, some of them might prescribe it, but most of them probably wouldn't because they think it's outside their area of expertise. So if you wanted testosterone, you would need to ask for referral to the menopause clinic if you want to stick with the NHS route, and you would be prescribed the male testosterone, and you just have to adjust the dose, a small dose for a female every day, or go the private health route if you can afford it, and you could get the women-specific testosterone if you could afford it. As I said, small, it's £100 for a tube, it's 3 months.
Yeah. Testosterone's also massively linked to energy levels and motivation and stuff like this as well. So it could combat some fatigue and some lethargy and some feelings of just general...
Just get that motivation and energy and sort of drive.
Yeah. Maybe just get that back up a little bit. That comes from testosterone,
and
drive.
And libido as well, which is
definitely
really important.
Libido,
yeah.
Scanning the notes, hey?
Yeah, I think that I've actually covered everything that I actually wrote down.
Interesting. I have some things to talk about that we've not mentioned just yet.
Go.
So, one of the things I wanted to talk about was weight change and body weight change in menopause, because this is one of the things that comes up in my life, obviously, constantly. People saying, oh, I put on 2-3 stone due to menopause, or oh, everything was going fine until menopause, etc. So I just wanted to talk about menopause and metabolism and menopause and fat loss and weight management and how these are kind of different things, aren't they?
Good.
What do you mean?
Because I couldn't tell you how many posts I've seen in the group saying, menopause equals weight gain.
Yeah.
Like it's something that you can't do anything about. And
menopause might equal weight change, because when your hormones change, your water levels can change. You can change water retention levels, but unless you've got a significant different medical issue with water retention somehow, nobody's blowing up like a water balloon from menopause. You're not putting on a stone or 2 stone or 3 stone from water. This is not real.
No.
And there's no hormonal changes that are going to impact metabolism in any significant way.
Because you can't break your metabolism.
No, thankfully you can't break it. And when I work out people's calorie maintenance levels and calorie intakes, I do not ask people how old they are, partly because it's impolite to ask a lady her age.
No, it's not.
I'm completely kidding, I know. if it was necessary to the science, I would do it.
I'm proud of my age.
Oh, good, that's excellent to hear. No, I was only kidding. I don't ask males or females their age when you work out people's metabolisms, because it's just
irrelevant.
It just doesn't really make much difference. No, it makes a tiny, tiny difference in some people, but not all people. There are lots of different calorie calculations you can do to work out how fast people's metabolisms are. A couple of them take into account age, a couple of them don't. They all pretty much yield the same numbers anyway, showing that it's not really a major factor.
Yep.
So can your weight change due to menopause? It can. It can. You could gain or lose. You could even lose water retention, because as estrogen drops, water retention actually drops down. So it could be either way, really. But how is it affecting your metabolism? No. Has menopause gained any body fat directly? No. So if you've hit menopause or are going through these changes and you're gaining body fat, this is not due to the menopause. This is due to your calorie intake being too high. Can the menopause cause the calorie intake to be too high? Yes, it can. In the ways of insomnia, in the ways of
depression,
yes,
leading to lethargy.
different moods, different fatigue, brain fog, decision-making fatigue, lowered motivation, lower energy levels, all those symptoms that we just said, making you feel like shit.
Yes.
Can that make dieting harder? Hell yes.
Yes.
Can it make you want to more emotional eat? Yes.
Yes.
Can it
know this.
Yes. Can it make controlling emotional eating more difficult? Yes. Of course it can. Can it make exercise more difficult when your joints are hurting?
Yep.
Yes. Of course it flipping can, and you've got no energy and you've not slept well, so now you're craving carbs and you feel like shit. No, you don't want to exercise because screw that. And your mood's also bad.
Yep.
You know, so can it screw people over indirectly, massively? Is it actually, though, affecting people's metabolism and actually putting them on body fat in a way that they can do nothing about it? No, not necessarily. Not really, not necessarily, no. So I just wanted to mention that, whether you're pre, post, perimenopausal, it's post, any of it, it's not, all hope is not lost.
No.
You can still slim down the same. Might you find it slightly different? Yeah, you might do. People's hunger levels change sometimes with menopause as well. Hormonal changes can affect hunger levels. Loads of things can change, but you can still slim. We have people in the group slimming pre, peri, post menopause, no menopause, any menopause you want. Come on down. Come on down.
Yep.
So that's one thing I just wanted to mention for a little bit of motivation for people. It's not gaining your body fat, and you can slim down, and you can eat healthy, and you can still exercise, and you actually should. Healthy eating and exercise can attenuate some of the symptoms of menopause. It actually says on the NHS website that, and in the guidelines and all this kind of stuff, that healthy eating and exercise is a massive impactor towards it. Why is that? Because healthy eating and exercise, eating the correct foods and keeping your body weight in a healthy position helps hormonal management overall. Doesn't it? It just helps your body be...
everything.
Yeah, it just helps everything. It helps your body being in a healthy position. It's also reducing other stresses on your body, which might, like if you've got obesity or diabetes or weight management issues, and this is causing you either physical or psychological negative impacts in some way, and so you're feeling poor already, and you're not sleeping well, and you've got crap energy, and you're not fueling yourself well, and then you've got menopause on top. Sometimes it's just all too much. Sometimes sometimes just some healthy eating and exercise. Maybe it's not going to fix the menopause. That's not how it. But can it get your body to be stronger and in a stronger position? Yes, it can. Can it reduce some of the estrogen changes that are coming from the body fat, not the menopause? Yes, it can. Yes, it can. Yeah. Can you reduce other stresses and pressures that your body's feeling that might be coming from incorrect food or lack of exercise? Yes, you can. You can boost your energy levels up through exercise. You can boost your bone density up through good calcium intake and through protein intakes. And you can attenuate some muscle loss with a good protein intake. And you can not fix the symptoms, but you can kind of hopefully counter some of them and just stay a little bit healthier and just give your body a little bit of a better chance. So you know me, I've always got to say some shit about healthy eating and exercise.
Absolutely. And I would like to just say that it's just gone for it's a bit over 4 years since we met and I joined.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah.
Lovely.
So I was 58 then.
Yes.
And thanks to you, I got down to weigh the same as what I did when I was in my 20s.
Yes. And you were having hot flushes and flipping insomnia.
Yep.
You didn't sleep for goddamn years.
Which is, it's not a...
Do you sleep better now, or is it still an ongoing...
Mostly fixed.
A bit better, is it? Because I know you were having...
No, a lot better.
A lot better. Okay, good. Because you didn't sleep for... We were actually, one of the weight management struggles we were having was to do with your sleep, wasn't it? And then when the sleep started to get it, we started to do sleep management. Obviously, you've started your hormone replacement therapy and stuff, and we tried different tactics to do with sleep, didn't we? Yeah. And we had to actually work on this for a good amount of time to sort of get it under control.
But So, 4 years since I've been with you and in the group, and I'm still weighing what I did in my 20s.
Well, weight maintenance, well, weight management. Here we go. Well, long term, baby.
Yes.
We're not just slim for summer. We're slim for life. Here we
I'll
go.
tell you.
6 steps to slim.
Never leaving this group. Never. You're so fucking stuck with me.
Good. I hope so. And to everybody listening, you're one of the supporting coaches in the 6 Steps to Slim group. And also one of my adopted mothers.
Yes, I am.
Yes. And look
this is my son.
Yes, look after me, don't you? Not only in business, but also in life.
Yes, I try. I try.
You help me and help me look after my people, and I really do appreciate it. So weight maintenance and weight management, still a possibility, as proven by the beautiful Anita in front of me. Another thing I wanted to mention is loads of bullshit supplements that don't do anything really.
Oh, yes, please. Yes.
Like black cohosh, for example, and people at home are going, oh no. Now people are melting. They're turning it off right now, the podcast. No, don't talk shit about. You know what else I'm going to talk shit about? Evening primrose oil. This is going to upset some people.
Yep.
But people love their. I was going to say EPO because that's sometimes what it is, but EPO is a flipping injectable steroid.
Yes, it is.
That like Lance Armstrong uses.
Yes.
The cyclist guy.
Erythropoietin.
Yeah, increases your red blood cell count.
Yes.
Makes you go for longer.
It does.
Also gives you flipping heart attacks and blood clots and
yes, it does.
Increases your blood pressure like crazy.
Yes, it does.
You will die.
Yes.
Don't do it, ladies and gentlemen. Don't
do
it.
that.
So anyway.
But is there any great harm in trying evening primrose oil?
No, because it's just an oil. What's it going to do?
I never try. I mean, I didn't try any of that stuff. What's it going to do?
It's nothing. It's just an oil.
No.
It's not even a special fancy oil. It's literally just an oil like any other. It's similar to olive oil. Does it have good properties? Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, it does. Honestly, it has. Lots of different oils have healthy properties. We could pull out properties of olive oil. We know olive oil's healthy. Fish oil, oh my god.
Yep.
Omega-3s, so healthy.
Yep.
So does evening primrose oil have benefits? Sure. Is it going to do anything to menopause? No evidence really. No evidence particularly. Black cohosh, people love it. No real evidence, unfortunately. This is a plant. It's actually Native American medicine. So we're like shamanistic voodoo now if we're using black cohosh. What else is there? Flaxseed. Some people think this is again due to like omega-3s and alpha-linoleic acid and stuff like this. Is it good for you? Yes. What might you feel better? Maybe. Is it to do with the menopause? Probably not. Probably you've just got omega-3 deficiency and you should have been doing it anyway.
Can I just interject something that just popped into my head? I did read a study. Apparently, Japanese women have very little issue with menopause.
Okay.
And it's this thing that I read, it was attributed to soy, the amount of soy protein.
Interesting, I was going to mention soy in a minute.
Yeah, that they have in their diet their whole life.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. I have no idea if that's true, to be honest. I have no idea. Soy is a phytoestrogen. It is an estrogenic compound. It does have mild estrogenic effects inside the body. Can you consume enough soy though to actually flip in hormone replacement therapy? Not really,
No. And I don't think that it, like if you hit menopause you can't start eating like soy or tofu every day and think you're going to fix it. But
there's
because
no menopause
their diet for their entire life is generally quite high in that, then
maybe
they're making some correlation
those
between
edamame
that
beans, they flipping love them.
And
go back for it.
And minimal menopause symptoms. Apparently, generally speaking, they don't have very bad menopause.
Yeah, I'm not aware of this.
Interesting.
Maybe it is the soy. Maybe it's genetics. Maybe no one knows.
Yeah.
Maybe it's a coincidence. I'm not sure. But there's no evidence in general for like menopause symptom relief from soy. No, even though it is an estrogen and it does have mild estrogenic effects and stuff like this. Like there's a lot of stuff like men sometimes avoid soy because they're like, oh, it's like an estrogen. No, not really. No, it's flipping healthy. You'd have to be like getting soy protein or soy powder and consuming like buckets of it per day to like make any like significant impact at all. What else? Oh, red clover is another one.
Oh yes, I think.
Yeah, that people use. Yeah,
that, yeah.
There's no real evidence for this.
No.
No, not really. I mean, there are studies like with the black cohosh thing. Some people are like, oh yeah, but there's studies showing that it was better than placebo. There is, but there was also 2 studies of 8,000 women, and it showed no effects whatsoever in pre, peri, or post-menopause at all. Showed no effects, no better than placebo at all. Neither did soy. Neither did, I can't remember any others to be honest. But there's no menopause diet. There's nothing you can buy at Holland and Barrett really. And to be honest, even if these things did impact your hormones, number one, that'd be an issue because hormone levels are a sensitive thing hormone levels have been created over thousands of years of evolution. If you could just eat a bit of soy and it started messing with your hormone levels, this would be a real issue in day-to-day life.
Yes, it would.
Would you not throughout your entire life?
Yeah.
If you come across a few edamame beans and you start going down, oh my God, your estrogen levels start getting too high. The systems are not this sensitive. But even if you could, like you can buy stuff like on the internet and stuff that will change your estrogen levels, you shouldn't do it without doctor's supervision. So even if you can find things like supplements and stuff and you take enough of them that it has some impact on your estrogen levels, you're messing with your hormones without supervision of anybody that knows what they're doing.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't be doing that.
It's a bad idea. You need to either just go to the GP or go to the private people you've recommended and just actually get people involved. And then if they say, yeah, try it, and then they're watching you and doing a few tests on you and seeing that you're all right, go for it. Go for it. Add it in. By all means. It's not going to hurt, like you said.
No.
Bit of evening primrose, bit of flaxseed. Ginseng is another one.
Flipping. Oh, I've not heard that.
Yeah. I don't know how you say QI in like Qi, is it? Or
I think it's Qi.
Qigong.
Yep.
Flipping Qigong. It's like Asian ginseng. Or even I think normal ginseng is also Asian, but it's double Asian ginseng. I'm not even sure how it works, to be honest. But it doesn't work for menopause either.
No.
Not really. Is ginseng good? Yes. Does it have impacts on the body? Yes. Does it have effects? Yes. It's like...
Oh, what does it do? I don't even know.
It's like all different foods. All different foods have different positive effects, couldn't they? Like you could say, what does a flipping banana do? Loads of positive things. It's got loads of vitamins and minerals and stuff in it.
Potassium.
Yeah, a bit of this, but everything has effects. Like the evening primrose oil, does it do things? Of course it does. It goes into the body, it gets absorbed. You could pick out, it's got this bit of fat that has this little bit of impact on the body, but what's it doing overall? And there's just... Overall, there's no real evidence that any or all of these supplements, none of them have been conclusively been shown to actually do anything. The things that you've been talking about have. The actual replacement therapies, the actual creams, the actual moisturizers, the actual body weight management, the healthy eating, the exercise. These things can actually have positive impacts. You need to do all those first and get doctors involved and see what's going on and do all the right things. Then, all right, if you want to add on some supplements from your Holland and Barrett because it makes you feel good, all right.
Yeah.
All right. But we need to be using the actual proper tools first, don't we?
Yes. The whole process of trying to, just for me personally, figuring out this regime, it took several months for things to have effect. It's not kind of like a quick fix.
No.
It takes months for things
even hormone replacement therapies themselves take a while to settle in, don't they?
But for things to start reversing, start restructuring, start improving, the improvement in your mucosa, wherever you're having issues, genitals, urinary, whatever. Yeah. Takes quite a while just to get everything sort of back to comfortable level, but just I found it heartbreaking of just women who they've got so many genital urinary issues and symptoms. They can't wear jeans anymore. They can't wear underwear anymore because it's too uncomfortable, it's too painful, it's too whatever. People have had to retire because they couldn't sit at their office desk anymore because they're just too uncomfortable to sit. I mean, I kind of feel like I got off quite lightly when I read some other women's stories, but this stuff it's more than just something that's a bit annoying and a bit uncomfortable. This is stuff women in this group have said, I don't know how much more of this I can take. I'm suicidal. Yeah. Because I'm in so much discomfort and pain and this and that and the other, all the stuff.
Insomnia, depression, just all this cycle.
And then, maybe you've got a breakdown in a relationship and to any man who leaves their relationship because their partner or wife is unable to have intercourse because of issues like this, well, fuck you.
I get them told.
Really?
Yeah.
Really? I know my husband will not watch this, but I've been so lucky because he's been so incredibly patient. He's been really supportive and really helpful through all this.
Amazing.
So, yeah, but as you should expect from your partner.
Well, you're together to try and move forward in life together better than you
Yes.
could do separately. You're supposed to support each other, aren't you?
Exactly.
If you're better or for worse, the vows said. So let's go.
Yeah, I don't know if we said. I don't think we said that, but yeah.
Well, it's a good job he believes it anyway. He's still in. He's got it still.
Yeah. So, thanks, pal. Yeah.
Is there any concluding statements you want to make then at the end? Any final thoughts or summaries?
I think that I almost think maybe there's some feminist angle to this as well. It's just like these women's health things. Why are they just not discussed? Why are they just brushed away? Why are they just not forefront in people's doctors, practitioners, whoever's? It's just, why is this stuff not important? Because it's 50% of the population who are going to go through this. I know that, 30, 40, whatever years ago, no one talked about miscarriage. That's changing. The difference personally, my generation, as to the next generation in my family, the difference in sort of sex education, what I was told, which was 9/10 of nothing, compared to what my nieces and nephews have had. That's changing.
Yeah.
Leaps and bounds.
Yeah.
But the whole menopause thing, it seems like it's the last thing that's kind of shrouded in kind of
bit of a
mystery,
taboo,
or it's just not talked about.
Yeah. Except by us.
Except by us.
We're here right now talking about
We're
it.
doing it.
People listening, we've done the damn thing. We don't care what other people talk about. We've got what we want to say.
Yep.
And we've got the people willing to listen. We're here to help if no one else is, at least.
Absolutely. So
mental health as well recently over the last
that's
couple
another,
of years
that's
has
another thing.
come forward into being kind of more open to talk about.
Especially since the whole lockdown thing, because it's just become more.
And it's good. These things need to be discussed.
Fantastic. Fantastic.
To be honest, I've really enjoyed this podcast. I think it's been amazing. It's been nice to talk about something a little bit different. Definitely. I always love talking to you anyway.
Well, yes, we could talk for quite a number of hours about a
number
of things.
But this has been a nice topic, and there's already been so much interest. So many people, just that I've spoken to, or in our 6 Steps to Slim group, have said, "Oh, I'll give that one a listen."
Good.
Because maybe people don't want to talk about it, but they do want to listen, and they do want information. All these ladies, don't they? They're struggling in silence sometimes.
If anyone wants to private message me, go right ahead. I'm happy to chat. One of the ladies in the group, we had a little chat on the phone about a couple of things the other night. I'm more than happy to direct people to, anywhere they need to be directed to, whatever they need help with. Got a question, shoot me a message.
On Facebook, you are Anita Zumba Grant.
I am.
Yeah.
I am. Giveaway in the title.
Or you could, if they can't find you for whatever reason, you can find me on the Slum Society Facebook page or at slumsociety.co.uk and email or message me and say, hey, you want to speak to Anita, if they just can't find you for some reason, and then I'll direct them over to you.
Absolutely.
Thank you. That's a really nice offer that you've put out there.
More than happy.
My concluding statements would be, number one, don't give in. against this menopause and don't feel like there's nothing you can do about it, I would say fight against it. I would say if you're feeling negative, don't compound your own negativity and don't give in and don't let it beat you down. Try to attack the negativity and create alternate positivity as well. You can attack the negative symptoms you're feeling with moisturizers and creams and replacement therapies. And you can create alternate positivity by also being healthy and being active and trying to get your body weight into a good position. It's not fixing the menopause, but it's fixing other things, it's all molding together.
If you don't get what you need and what you want from your GP, don't be brushed under the carpet. Don't be just pushed aside.
You pay your taxes, the GP works for you technically. Get them told.
You can write letters of complaint, you can request referrals, you can ask to see another doctor, you can use these nice guidelines as your guidelines to ask questions and to say to the doctor, why aren't you doing this? This is what's recommended. Have you even read these guidelines? Read them. So, you know, it's very much for me, this personal journey has been about educating myself and going out and finding, trying, getting what I need to actually be able to go forward with my life.
Amazing.
Yeah.
The last thing I would say as well is if you're experiencing terrible menopause symptoms, it's normal. I think people sometimes feel like there's something wrong with them.
Oh, and Jesus, I did.
I know. Yeah. Maybe technically there is. Okay, maybe you've got hormonal changes occurring. You could class it as a hormonal deficiency, etc. Sure, but it's also normal. It's also natural. It's not that you're broken if you're experiencing menopause. It's a natural thing. It's being created by evolution to go through these cycles. So if you're experiencing this, don't feel like, oh, there's something wrong with. No, you're normal. It's normal, but that doesn't mean give into it. It also doesn't mean just accept it.
No, you don't have
to. There's lots we can do about it. If it's having
negative impacts on your life, you don't have to put up with it. You don't have to put up with it. I did have a little mental wondering to myself the other day, why don't men have the equivalent? From an evolutionary and a genetic point of view.
Yes, men's bodies are a lot simpler than females. There's not the same hormonal cycle throughout the entire life as women have the menstrual cycle with constantly fluctuating estrogen and progesterone levels changing, and then the menopause occurs where the estrogen drops down and these changes occur. Men just kind of, through adolescent, testosterone levels goes up, and then unless you don't look after yourself, it kind of maintains until you're about...
I suppose it's probably got something to do with the fact that women are born with the number of eggs that they have, and the quality and the number decrease over time, so that by the time you're, say, halfway through your life, for argument's sake, you have a low number and a low quality of eggs, so you probably just generally, you could say that your body's probably not up to reproduction. Maybe that's the reason. But
yep, that would make sense as a reason. I would also say that throughout ancient human history, when we were hunter-gatherers for about the first 299,000 years of human evolution, average lifespan and expectancy was only 35. So people overall, this is now why we're getting increased cancers. And
because we're living so much longer.
Because we live so much longer. People, if it was me and you running around in flipping grass skirts with spears, it depends if you even make it to the age to get to menopause. So yeah, you're right. Maybe it's a
lot of them wouldn't have even known that menopause even happened.
No, because you get eaten by a tiger when you're 29. Right. Exactly. You fall over, break your leg, you get sepsis, and you're screwed. You know? Or I got cancer when I was 8, didn't I?
Yes.
So I would have just throughout. Science literally saved me.
Yes.
Otherwise, I would have gone down in history if I was born even 10 or 20 years earlier. He was just an ill child.
Yes.
You know, children that just died in the past. Infant mortality was 50%.
Yeah.
Wasn't it for flipping ages? Loads of people died of just unknown things. They just didn't really know too much about science back then. So yeah, you're probably right. It's probably due to a lack of eggs. It's probably due to increased risk of pregnancy. For the baby and the mother as age goes up. So it's probably like a feedback mechanism to protect from birth going wrong or something impacting the female. But also things just change because we just live longer and longer and longer now.
True.
But this is now why, thankfully, we've got science and medicine to try and counter these things so that we can stay healthier for longer, and now life expectancy is increasing. There's going to be people routinely living to 120 years old, maybe older, in our lifetime, literally. Because it's the future right now. Thanks for coming to talk about all this stuff. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for
It's
the
been a
opportunity.
great conversation.
Yes, it has. I've really enjoyed it because I always love talking to you. And like I said, if it even helps one person, I'll be really happy.
I completely agree. Thank you so much. Thanks for listening as well, ladies and gentlemen. We'll speak to you and we'll see you again soon.
Thank you.
Unclip yourself. We're going to hug.